Good afternoon, and welcome to our final session here on the Name Studio API main forum stage. I am super excited to give a little intro. I know a lot of us arrived yesterday, today. There was a group of people that actually arrived a couple days ago. They got here Saturday, and they have been working really, really hard. And this is the 5th hackathon for CloudFest that has taken place in Germany. Another one took place in the US, and I would love to introduce Jeff Hardy and Carole Olinger to join us here on stage and give a little overview of what they experienced over the last couple of days. Enjoy.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Carole.
Jeff.
Carole. All right, so before we can get started on this, Carole is the one who put this all together. So, there we go. All right. There we go. We're in business. All right, so Carole, first of all, a round of applause just for her because she's been working her tail off for weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've been involved a long time. She did a marvelous job, and I hope you do it with me next year again. I think it could be wonderful.
I will be here. I count on you to be the awesome MC that you have been since this whole thing started. So thank you, Jeff, for being awesome. And I mean, we could all see how great you have been dealing with this room together with Elizabeth. So please, another round of applause for my famous colleague,
thanks.
Jeff.
Thanks. All right. So the hackathon this year was amazing. I've seen them all, and it was simply amazing. We had, first of all, some stats. You know, we had more than 90 coders arrive. There's always a drop. We had almost no drop-off. That was amazing to me. The people who signed up showed up, and they were all there and enthusiastic. We had 8 projects that they all worked on. Everybody worked on and made progress, and I've seen a few hackathons where something didn't really happen, but everybody accomplished goals and objectives and made real progress and real contributions, and that's amazing as well. Click. They worked for 52 hours from starting on midday on Saturday until through Monday in the afternoon, and yeah, they were all there. And
Some of us even through the night.
Yes, but there was an interruption of a Mario Kart tournament in the middle of that, and consumed tons and tons of snacks, so everybody had a wonderful time. We need to take and thank the sponsors. This wouldn't have been possible. It was paid for by these people. Automatic, Intel, Google, Codable, you got Ionos, Platform.sh, Cloudways, PostStatus, Sign.net, and Yoast.
Thank you so much because you're making this possible.
Right. So thank them. Please, on my behalf, you bump into somebody from these companies, say thank you on our behalf. Let's talk about the first session. The first project, right?
Yeah. So we invited the project leads to talk a little bit about the results, what they've been accomplishing during the week. And I have the honor to represent the Indie WordPress project. So I haven't been on the team, obviously, because I had been participating in the jury, which was such a hard job. So but they asked me to tell you about what they've been doing during the weekend. So I'm not sure if everybody knows what the Indie Web is. So it wasn't new to me. So I have to tell you, by my notes, the Indie Web is a community of individual personal websites connected by simple standards based on the principle of owning your domain, using it as your primary identity to publish on your own site and own your data. Publishing posts to data silos like Twitter and Facebook while keeping ownership of the data actually is possible. And so is gathering reactions from those pages and display them on your website.
Perfect.
So.
Nice.
Yeah, now we're going to see what this team of 9 people, how they...
We'll do it, but and Robert Windisch, from the WordPress community, he kind of captained, he led the team, but you can see a wonderful, fully populated team there, and they put together, this is them working together, they outlined, they scoped out their project, the things that they wanted to accomplish, and then they started making progress, they did design and they did implementation. And the stuff they worked on, something you're going to hear about, Carole did something a little bit different this year. We actually had some jury awards based upon participation. So it wasn't just being able to design and create and make progress on their contributions, but it was also to be able to present it and to be able to post it and let everybody know about it in social media over the course of the 2 days. So, right?
Yep.
So this is them showing them doing their work. And here are their results. They did make concrete improvements. They demoed them live in the final sessions, and they redesigned the settings page for easier onboarding, and they have new features involved. So it was a big success, right?
Yeah, and it actually was. I was so impressed when I saw the first time retweets and tweets that were arriving at the owner's blog. So they were working with an actual blog of somebody of the team, and everything that has been done on social media arrived on their website. So it was so cool.
Perfect. So first of all, everyone, please, for the indie team. The second project, we have somebody here to talk about the project,
Yes,
right?
we have somebody talking about it. So here is Jonathan from the Design Crew, right? Daryl, I'm so sorry. There we go.
Darren.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Daryl from Sign.net.
Forward, back.
Yeah, so our project name was actually called Hack and Sign, and what we did was we actually took digital signing and non-fungible tokens to the next level. So actually, as a company, we are a digital signing service. So we actually open up our APIs for this hackathon to hope that developers all around the world can actually come and maybe develop something good. Yep. And the goal, what our project goal was, is that we wanted to integrate our Sign.net APIs, digital signing, and NFT. You might be wondering, what is this NFT term? So remember how I said non-fungible tokens to the next level. So those that are familiar with non-fungible tokens, you might know that they are used for images. But we wanted it to take things to the next level and use it for documents as well. So you can actually gain ownership of this document, which is actually very powerful. So we wanted to integrate our APIs with IFTTT, which stands for if this, then that. A mouthful, yeah. But what we wanted to do is just to allow users to integrate our services with their day-to-day activities. So what we were actually developing was the middleware between our API, this is the Sign.net API, and IFTTT service. So what this does is it's actually an open source, so anybody that wants to integrate with us, they can just go to IFTTT and maybe develop triggers, actions, and really integrate it with our digital signing. So as a proof of concept, we actually did an integration with Dropbox. So what we did was that if a document has been signed, we will then save a copy in the Dropbox. Simple. And send an email confirmation as well. So this is what happens if we are the first. Okay, now I will go to what happens if Dropbox first. So if a document has been uploaded onto a Dropbox folder, then sign the document and save into, and send me an email confirmation. Yeah, so this is just what a proof of concept that we have done, and you can see that the applet will be shown here. So this is just a simple proof of concept that we have done, but we actually have future roadmaps. Maybe using non-fungible documents, we can have Power Grid credit certification, and we can actually produce educational certificate authentication, or maybe even a certified proof of warranty. Yeah, and if you want to work with us, maybe work with our signing APIs, you can just approach one of our guys. We have a booth at R14. Yeah, so
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Give it up for Daryl, please.
Don't walk away. Don't walk away. Give me that back. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daryl.
Got to keep an eye on those developers, man.
Yes.
Technology,
yes.
take it all.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Bento and WordPress. All right. So who do we have to speak about that?
Here's Alain Schlesser. He has been leading this project during the week.
Wait, have I introduced you?
Not really.
All right. I don't think that's necessary. Go ahead.
We happen to know each other. There you go.
Thank you. Hi, all. So, the Bento and WordPress project. First of all, what is Bento? Bento is a set of high-performance web components that try a new way of providing such a framework so that it is more platform agnostic, so that you get all the engineering expertise of building something that has all the best performance practices in mind, but that you can compile into your target platform, like into an actual web component, into a React component, Preact, whatever you need. So what we try to do is bridge this with WordPress, the block editor that is included in WordPress. This block editor is powered by React, and the idea was to integrate these and see what happens if the block editor is flexible enough to accept an external framework to power its internals, and if the Bento web components, they are actually useful not only in theory but also in a real-world application. So this is what actually happens. The Bento component source code, that defines what the component does, how it's built, and this is expressed in a Preact component. Preact is a technology for reactive, interactive interfaces on a web page. And then that source code is being compiled in both a React component and an actual standardized web component. So the difference might not be obvious to a lot of you. React is a thing you use as a developer, where you can run programming language commands against it. But the web component, that is actually an extension of the web itself. So all of a sudden, the HTML that produces your web pages, it just knows new vocabulary. Instead of only having paragraphs and lists, all of a sudden you have a slider and a carousel that are directly part of the web page. And what we did was use the React component in the Gutenberg block editor to power the editor when you assemble your page. And then when it stores the result of that, it doesn't store this React component, it stores the web component's HTML markup. And that is what is being displayed on the web page. So what we actually wanted to achieve was to prove the usefulness of this concept of these components that can be built into several targets. And in this particular case, it worked exceptionally well. So we were actually surprised how well everything ended up working. We built a WordPress page that was completely unoptimized. It had no caching. The images, they came directly from the Unsplash website, downloading the full image of several megabytes, just dropping into the editor. Everything ran on one of the hackathon attendees' personal VPS, and it just worked. The entire page was very responsive, smooth animations. It was just a pleasure to scroll through and use it. All the interactivity worked as expected. So that was a brilliant proof of how these best practices in terms of performance for the Bento components, how they actually work. And then in the Gutenberg editor, we found out that it's extremely simple to integrate something like Bento. We had one issue with the editor where a flexibility that we needed was missing, and we were fortunate enough to have actual Gutenberg core developers on the team that just applied a patch to the editor, and we were good to go. And in the end, we ended up with 11 new Gutenberg blocks and a web page that was fully powered by these blocks and had everything we needed. It had a great performance score, and the entire editing experience was very enjoyable. We didn't get to experiment with some of the more experimental parts of the project because we just need to scope it down in time. So most of what you see of what we didn't achieve, it's not that we didn't have a full solution, it's just that we defined early on that that was not in scope of the project.
That's for the next hackathon.
Yes, absolutely.
I actually like the title of the website. It said the greatest hackathon ever.
Yes.
So you should give it a look.
You can actually see the web page on this very slow VPS if you go to bit.ly/bento-w. So bit.ly/bento-w. WP, not W.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here you go, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you, Alana.
And I can, yep.
Thank you very much. Cool. All right. Next, local spam with anti-spam B. Who's here to help us with that?
We have Lucas Radke, who
nice.
was on that team.
Beautiful. All right. You know how it works. Yes. You have the power.
There you go.
Yes, so basically I'm not the team lead, but I worked on the project. So maybe you don't know what anti-spamby is, but it's a WordPress plugin which takes care that spammers can't misuse your comments section and provide malicious things there and such. So the plugin is nearly 10 years old. It's a monolithic block of code, so 3 PHP files, 6,000 lines of code. And so our goal or challenge was to make anti-spamby ready for 2022 in the future. We had a team of 7 people, developers, translators, documentation, and our goals were to rework the way how filters and the rules were working and applied, provide a new interface to enable more plugins to provide their own spam filter rules, improve the documentation, open anti-spamby to other plugins that, for example, Contact Form 7 or other plugins can also use those filters on their own. Implement a scoring mechanism because before it was just like if something happens, then always say it's spam. And then last but not least, also rework the UI and UX. And those are the results. So in total, we had like 4,000 new lines of code, deleted 12,000 lines of code. Anti-spamby version 3.0 is now ready in an alpha version. So the team really worked great on this. And we've standardized the user interface to also allow flexibility and hook it so that other plugins can hook in there, have their own settings, have their own rules. Yeah, that's it.
Amazing. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. And I got to say, from an old school project management perspective, when I hear a coder says, "Yes, we wrote 4,000 lines of code, but it works better, and we deleted 12,000 lines of code," I go, "Oh man, that's like ear candy when people say things like that."
Yes.
Crazy. All right. Next up, we have GPG Fuel.
Yeah.
What's the plan on this one, Carole?
Yeah, we have somebody here that has been on this team. So
Nice.
may I introduce Viktor Klonowski?
Victor,
Thank you very much.
you should be on.
I am. Yes, let's hope. I don't hear my. Oh yeah, now I hear myself. So yes, thank you very much, everyone. My name is Victor. I wasn't the lead of the project. Unfortunately, Andreas had to go back home earlier. But all thanks for this project, for making it work, should go to him because he led us and taught us, or at least me personally, so much about the security. But moving on to the project itself, GPG Fuel. GPG is the technology security really that is right now fueling and driving the security, for example, of emails, sending certified or encrypted emails. However, setting it up is pretty difficult. Difficult enough that unfortunately not many people are actually using it. So what is necessary that if email is being signed, and then we have to know how to confirm whether the signature is correct. So you can do this by calling someone on key server and meeting in person as well, although during COVID it might be a little bit difficult. So for storing the public keys, there exists a web key in directory already. However, again, there is no simple tool set, especially for shared hosting. So our goal was to create a tool as simple as possible where user can upload their keys, and for security purposes also that they must confirm that they own an email address, the mailbox of which keys they are which keys they are uploading. So during the 2 days, we've managed to make this project work. It is also only proof of concept so far, but it's working. So we managed to make the GPG Fuel, makes GPG so easy that even your parents can use it. Mm-hmm. It was meant to be installable anywhere, for example, via FTP, even on shared servers, not only on VPSs, and usable by anyone. You upload the key, and you need to confirm, click the link that you get in an email, and you get a confirmation. The GPG key itself is uploaded and saved in the correct location. So from now on, all your emails can be easily certified, and recipients will know that they come from you. So hackathon is finished already. We are hoping to, within a few weeks, make a release of something that can be used by anyone across the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and click us. Oh, see, you have the power. See, you forgot. All right.
No, that's your role.
All right, so the next one up, this is actually, this project right here, WordPress Performance in the Core. This was actually a winning project. This is one of our awards, right? So who's talking about this one?
So we have Paul Gilso here, who has been co-leading the project together with Jerome Biaidon. Give it up for Paul, please.
Please. Yeah, and your team won for most efficient team. Most efficient team.
Most efficient team.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So WordPress, the community back in 2021, put up forward a proposal to begin to research how the community could make WordPress faster and improve its performance. About 4 months ago, that was accepted and a team was put together. So the Performance Initiative team has been working for about 4 months. And so for the hackathon, what we wanted to do is we wanted to look at building a CI structure so every time a commit is made to core, an environment is brought up, we profile the environment, we record things, do some performance testing against it so we can begin to see if there's any regressions that have been introduced into core. So that was kind of the main goal. From there, we decided that, the workflow, we wanted to integrate with Blackfire, which is a product that does performance profiling, and then using Platform SH, the company I represent, to build out those environments. So again, as a commit is made into core, we take that commit, we take that new code, we develop in a development environment, produce that environment, and then we have GitHub CI run test against that with Blackfire. We run test against with PageSpeed Insights, record those results, and send those back to dashboard. Product dashboard data. No, I can't remember the name of that, but record those results, bring those back in again so that we can begin to see those regressions that are introduced. Here you can kind of see the commits that were made, and there's the example of our example site that we bring up, and we can see, okay, it's building out, no conflicts there. Keep going. There we go. We got trunk, and we add in some more commits. Remember these parts, there we go. Oh, and there's our scenario. So we had to agree on exactly what we were testing, what areas inside both the front end and the back end we wanted to record and keep track of over the timeline, as well as the scenarios that were going to trigger those. So we had to agree, first of all, we had to kind of collaborate and decide upon what we're going to record and then get those built. Got those running there. And I think in the end, we didn't have that yet. You kind of see some of the examples there of the performance. And we immediately began to realize that there were multiple areas inside core that we could begin working on right away and take that back to the performance team, which ironically enough is meeting this very minute. So I'm actually meeting a performance team meeting to do this one.
Yeah.
So we definitely achieved it. We now have a process that as that commit, in fact, I checked it a few hours ago, there were 13 commits already. So that means 13 times that environment has come up, those performance tests have been run, and we've recorded those back to the dashboards. We've got that. We defined our metrics. We've begun to identify some performance issues. We're automatically running those front-end tests, and we'll begin to expand those out beyond just PageSpeed Insights, but into Lighthouse and some other areas. And we've got some, as you saw, some graphs using that data. So we do need to finish in getting all of this data back into the data studio. We definitely need to add some more metrics and test, as well as get that Blackfire data back out. One of the other things that is almost done, we just barely missed it, was to be able to go in and say, okay, not only do I want to do it for every commit, I want to go back and I want to say for every version from 5, 6 up to the latest, I want you to bring up an environment for every one of those so that I can profile and see how we've either improved or decreased performance through each version. And then again, eventually to extend this out to the Tide project, which catalogs plugins and themes and begin to performance test those. And possibly in the future as a requirement, say, okay, if you want to submit your plugin and have it accepted, it can't decrease performance of the core by X amount. So that's kind of another piece in the future that we want to add.
Awesome. I bet everybody can see now why your team won the category for most efficient team. That's so impressive.
We had people using Node. We have people, PHP in the back end, some performance people. A wide variety of skill sets went into this.
Right, and comparative historical versioning, that's going to be powerful.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, our next project, and I love the name of their team, which is Such Cool Much Wow Team. That was great, right? But they were also a prize winner. They won for best presentation.
Best presentation,
Should have won for just best team name. So who's going to talk about that today?
So we have Robert Jacoby here to represent that team. Give it up, please.
Here you go, Robert.
Thank you. This was a fantastic hackathon, and like Carol, I myself was also a judge, so I couldn't participate in any teams, but as a security and infrastructure dork, this was completely up my alley, because the WP-CLI team implemented WCLI security. Here's what we did. There's a lot of keyword stuffing, as they like to say it. Very happy that Alexander Savkovich of Cloudways led this team and led this project to make it happen. So implemented 10 new WP-CLI commands. They're available on Git. They're looking to be pushed into the project. So not only is that for just hosting companies, but anyone who needs to use WCLI to easily secure it without the use of plugins. Again, more securing of WordPress. Built with love, of course, in just a couple of days. Here are all the commands that were created by the team. So this is fantastic. 10 separate sets of commands to help secure everything from execution to author rights, scans, permissions, a lot of the cool stuff that every WordPress user cares about at some point in their lives. I'm going to scoot over this way so I don't get stuck in one corner of the stage, and so I can say hi to Jeff. All these are done. There's a giant WP secure all, so you can run all these commands at once in less than 60 seconds and completely secure your WP infrastructure. So that, again, really exciting to see that all this can be done to make WordPress more secure for everyone. So we're really hoping that, where's Elaine hiding, that he'll happily look at all this and try to get it into core as we hope.
Yeah, he sees the work from the future days.
Oh, I went too far. And then part of that also, they created a site called hackthewp.com. Lists documentation, lists all the details about the team. Even better, all the links to actually get and utilize the WP-CLI secure commands that were created over the hackathon. So check hackthewp.com, and yeah, fantastic.
Thank you so much, Robert. I love actually how the hackathon is making the web a safer place. So
you know what? So cool. Let's keep Robert here because he knows the next project and he was right.
I was just about to say I think he's a Joomla expert. Oh my God, I was spoiling it now.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
no. We don't want to but the CMSs he sees on the side. We don't want to spoil But he does dabble with the Joomla. So why don't you go ahead and take the next one? And they were a double prize winner. So
Am I off again?
Bring him back on.
Double prize. So as a friend of ours in the open source community says, I don't belong to one CMS. I'm in an open source relationship.
Ooh.
I did steal that from her. Mike, what's her name again? I just want to give her Jessica Dunbar, who's definitely in an open source relationship. And so tons of credit to her. The great super winner in multiple categories, let's start with the Joomla Project and the trusted updating framework, or the update framework. So first and foremost, they won the awesome prize for how social could they be. They blew away every single other hackathon team in social outreach and everything. No surprise, Joomla is an incredibly strong community, and they were really behind the hackathon team.
Yeah, so they won the category of social media engagement by far, and it was so well deserved. They even created a separate slide deck to use for social media during that event, and it was just amazing in terms of engagement. So please give it up for the Joomla team for social media
community
engagement.
who pitched in, right?
and what was great about the Joomla project in this hackathon especially is not only did they create something just to help secure updates for Joomla core and all that, making sure it's trusted, cryptographic, available to third-party developers. They also extended the framework for other platforms. Now, they didn't get everything into other platforms. On the Joomla side, it's in there. I don't even know if I hit the next button. Am I still on the same slide?
Yeah, sure.
So it's all about reducing the risk of installing contaminated files, any kind of hacks, man-in-the-middle kind of attacks on that. Again, I like security and infrastructure, so this was a great project to see get going. There we go. Whole bunch of achievements. We have defining the requirements, very organized team. Implementing the framework for just core Joomla updates. Signing the updates, metadata, cryptography, all along the chain so that you can really be sure that what you're getting is what you asked for. Then they created the tool chain, and focused on actually making this platform agnostic to help Drupal, to help WordPress, Typo 3, and then they published the tool chain to make it more accessible to everyone. So not only was it a project-specific thing, but really helped the entire open source ecosystem. Boop, boop, boop. Results. So that was what they were trying to achieve, and here are all the results. Define the requirements, created the pull requests from the PHP update framework client, created the Docker-based tool chain, created and configured the Git repository so you can go see and grab stuff from there, and the proof of concept implementation with core. So hopefully that'll be extended upon maybe future hackathons, maybe sooner, across multiple content management systems and platforms.
And look how much fun they had.
Oh my gosh, they were the biggest troublemakers. And as a former president of Joomla, I know how much trouble these guys can be, so that was fantastic to see.
Nice.
And there we go. I guess I got to give this back all up to Jeff. So congratulations
so
again to the
much,
Joomla
Robert.
Project for not only winning on the social media side, but also being the overall super coolest project at the hackathon.
Right, absolutely. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. And everyone, if you participated this year, I hope you come back next year. It was an amazing event. Carole, it was great. Everybody, it's going to be the same time. CloudFest is going to be about the same time next year. What is it, like Tuesday through Thursday, 21st through 23rd of March next year? We're coming back, I think, to the same bat channel. It's right here, coming right back here to Rust. So sign up, keep your eyes peeled, and Carole will be reaching out to you, right?
Yes. So see you in 2023, right?
Cheers, everybody.